My name is Joe Bustillos. I am the course director for edm613 Media Asset Creation, and welcome to our course intro video. Let's go ahead and get started with a little contact information. There is my name. You can refer to me as Mr. Professor or just Joe. And then the email addresses that I tend to use. The one, edm613@me.com, is my mobile me account, and it tends to get to me 24/7. So if you've got an email that you want to come to my attention directly, then that's the account that I would suggest you go ahead and use. That is also the handle that I use for my instant message or my iChat, edm613me.com. And then if you want to chat or Skype to do some voice communication, JB Bustillos is the handle. So if you add those two, the IM, edm613me.com, and JB Bustillos for the Skype, then you will pretty much have a pretty good idea of when I'm available to communicate with. If you have those in your instant message client or Skype, then you will know when I'm available to talk. If you don't see me in either one of those two clients, then there's a pretty good chance that I am not available because when I'm at the office, then I definitely have those guys booted up. So that's kind of your way of knowing. Also, there is a calendar you want to check in FSO, and that'll show you my online hours. I don't even bother really posting the voice, the office phone number, because you have a better chance of getting a hold of me in Skype over voice than by communicating via phone. So that's generally the way that I try to manage that. Okay, so let's talk about what is media asset creation. Basically, the course has changed from its earlier incarnations almost 3 years ago when it was a month 9 class. And now as a month 11 class, the main focus for a lot of this is to get everything together so that you are completely ready to move into month 12. And for the most part, that really means getting your, if you're an action research person or a CBR person, all the things that you need to do in terms of those projects need to be completed by the 4th week of this particular month. If you're a thesis person, then the same applies actually for your thesis. And also our rationale is making media our ally. So we will be talking about copyright issues and those sorts of things along the way. So milestones for month 11, if you are a action research person, first week you got the lit review due. Second week we have the whole action research website due at the end of the week. Third week we have the abstract due. And then fourth week we have something called the Publishing Leadership Project. The first part will be due, and then we will, in week 4, do some WIMBA sharing in relation to this. If you are a thesis person, then week 1 you'll have a content proposal for the media project due. Nothing due in week 2. Week 3, the thesis final draft is due. And then week 4, your media project is due. So what does the class look like on a week-by-week basis? Well, pretty much everything goes into our program via your blog, which you created in the first project for this month. So everything that you turn in basically is turned in through your blog. And what this basically entails is that you'll have one post per week about the week's reading. You'll have 2 posts that are based on comments that you are doing with your classmates. And then you'll have a 4th post, which could either be related to a project that we're doing or could be a free choice. So you will have a total of 4 blog posts due every week. And we'll talk a little bit more detail about this a little bit later, but I do want to make sure that you understand the 2 comment posts mean that you will visit your classmates' blogs, and each week you will visit 2 different classmates, read their blog, and then make a comment on their blog. And then you will take the original blog post and your comment, copy it, and paste that into your blog. So when I'm checking for what you did, I should see your comment plus the original blog that you commented on so that I have a context to understand your blogging, and you'll do that twice. That's a little bit confusing. We'll talk about that in a little bit more detail in another video. And then as far as WIMBAs are concerned, we have one each week. Week 1, 2, and 3, Tuesday. And then in week 4, we'll have, you'll select when you will share your project. And there'll be usually one on Tuesday and or Thursday, but we can talk about that a little bit later. Oh yes, also by the way, in terms of WIMBA, that does go towards your weekly activities grade. And so if you cannot attend the WIMBA, then you're expected to listen to the archive and then comment about the WIMBA session in your blog, which may actually turn out to be your 4th post for that particular week. And that's how do you get credits. And then we have discussion boards. Discussion boards, basically in the 1st and 4th week, you have 2 what we call quickies, which are, I ask a topic and then you respond to the topic briefly. And then in weeks 2 and 3, you'll have the 2 quickies plus 1 deeper response where I'll ask you to respond and list out some things. I believe in week 2 it's related to audio, and in week 3 it's related to video. And then what I suggest you do is you go to the blogging tech tips in FSO for some the more detailed info about the blogging component in our course if you have any further questions. The same material actually will be listed, I believe, in our comms and links activity. Okay, so course at a glance. Here is a little graphic for what it looks like, our course looks like. So if you look along the right column, the weekly projects, week 1, we've got the comms and links. Very, very important that you address that particular, even though it's not due until the Sunday of the 1st week, I would suggest you hit that right away, because basically I can tell that you're engaged in the course by how quickly you post your blog a URL in the class Google Doc. If I don't see that at the end of the week, then my assumption is that you aren't engaged and we have something to be concerned about. And then at the end of week 1, the lit review will also be due, and I will go into further detail about what the lit review entails in the lit review video, which is in FSO. So, also the lit review grade is connected to the Action Research website, which is due at the end of week 2, and the combination grade between the lit review and the Action Research website is 31%. So it is fundamentally important that you do complete that activity if your purpose is to move from month 11 to month 12, because without that grade, you will not move forward. And we'll talk about how grading is taken care of in terms of those particular projects. Then in week 3, you can see there's the Action Research website. Again, if in FSO, there is a detailed explanation about what Action Research abstract is all about. That will be 8% of your grade. And then the last thing in that particular column of weekly projects is the Publishing and Leadership project. That will be 15% of your grade. That will be due on the 4th Sunday of the week, but you will actually share your Publishing Leadership project during week 4, during our week 4 WIMBA, which I will talk about in a moment. So that's the last column there on the right, weekly projects. Then looking on the column on the extreme left, you have week 1. So all the activities except the weekly projects for week 1 will constitute 8% of your grade. All the activities week 2 will be 9%, week 3 9%, and week 4 9%. So then when I look at how I give you, because it's basically if I gave you 100 for week 1, that would be 8% of the course grade. But let's say you were missing something of the weekly activities. So the 4 blog posts, each blog post is worth 15% of the week 1 grade. The WIMBA attendance or archive and blog for the WIMBA, which could be your 4th blog post, is 15% of your grade. So there's that right there. Then each discussion board quickie itself, each response interaction activity is worth 12.5% of the grade. And then the reading for week 1 will be the copyright issues in our FSO. There's a whole series of videos. In fact, week 1 is going to be very video intensive, where you're going to click and you're going to be getting a lot of information via videos. So I suggest, just jump on that as quickly and as soon as possible, and then you'll be done for the week. It's not so that's how the reading is done in week 1. And one of the 4 blog posts in that blog post column is going to be from your reading, and so that's how you get graded for the reading in week 1. Week 2 is very similar. 4 blog posts, the WIMBA about copyright, so you should obviously have done the week 1 reading so we can talk about copyright in week 2 WIMBA. And then we've got discussion boards, a little bit different. So the quickies are worth 8% each, and the deeper is worth 9% of the weekly grade. And then you'll have actual book reading from our book Art of Possibility. chapters 1 through 4. All these weekly activities are also, when you click on the weekly activity and you scroll down a little bit, you will see a nested area where all of the actual explanation, detailed things about these weekly components are explained right there. So week 3, 4 blog posts, 15%. WIMBA, Art of Possibility, 15%. Discussion board and discussion board deeper, 8% and 9%. And then the weekly reading. And then week 4, 4 blog posts, 14%. The WIMBA itself, because it's a sharing session, you need to really look at that when we get to that point. Is going to be worth 20%. Discussion board quickies, 12% each, and then the weekly reading. And so that's kind of a really quick course overview. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail in a separate video on how you will interact with the course in FSO, but I wanted to give you this overview of what basically is going to transpire for the next 30 days. So let's talk about due dates. Most things will be due on the Sunday of that week. So all week 1 stuff is due on the Sunday at the end of the week. So really simple to understand. Due dates are also, they tend to be listed in the activity title. It'll say, week 1, Sunday, or end of the week. And in the deliverables section. If you see a date somewhere else, it's because I use blogging software to post the content of the course. And so if you see a specific date like January 15th, then you can pretty much ignore that date, because that's the date when I actually posted the information, and that could be confusing. Don't want you to be confused. So month 11, we are really with our toes over the edge toward the end of the program. So there is really absolutely no room for extensions. If you find yourself in a position where you need, well, number one, in the weekly kind of stuff, if you think you can get it done quickly but just need a little extra time, let me know in advance. If you let me know in advance, don't have a problem, as long as it's not something related to our main projects or something that's due at the end of week 4, and I'll explain that in a moment. So there really is no time for extensions, but if you communicate to me early and it's something that is within the confines of our 30 days, then we probably have something that we can work with. Otherwise, by the end of week 4, because of the way month 11 feeds into month 12, if you don't complete everything that needs to be done in month 11 to the point where you don't pass month 11, then you don't go to month 12. Because, in previous classes, you would do a course, and if you did not get a passing grade, then you would do the next course, and then at the end of that second course, you'd go back to the first. Well, there's no way of doing that in our situation here. So with month 11, everything needs to be done, contained, finished, completed within the 4-week allotment of time that we have. Human nature, getting stuff done, due dates. My thing here is that if it wasn't for due dates, then we wouldn't get things done. That's kind of human nature. But our focus really shouldn't be on just getting things done, but on getting the most we can from what we're doing. And a lot of this has to do with how you do your time management. If you wait till Saturday and Sunday, you know the score. It's not going to probably be a good thing. So you really need to stay on top of things. And if it looks like you're not going to get something done, then you need to consider what other options are available to you. With that said, everything is up to my discretion whether I will accept late work. But like I said, if it's anything that goes past week 4 Sunday, then there's a very good chance I won't accept it, and we'll get the chance to spend an extra month together. Okay, here, speaking of time, here's a kind of a screen grab of what the calendar looks like. You'll find this in the FSO. Just click on course calendar, and this is what you'll see. I'll list the dates when everything is due in terms of the weeks 1 through 4. Then you'll see the static calendar, pretty much kind of telling you how things flow through the month. And then the part below is my Google Doc calendar, and I change it from time to time because my schedule does tend to vary. And so if you're trying to plan when you might be able to catch me online, then these are the times when you're most likely to catch me online. And then, like I said before, we are going to do a video walkthrough of our FSO resources. So that's it, kind of in a nutshell of what we're doing here in Media Asset Creation, month 11, edm613. I hope that you got the information that you need. If not, please contact me using any of these particular modes of communication. Talk to you later.